Welcome back to another episode of What's New in Beauty. My name is Nia Lee, and I'm super excited to have you guys here. If it's your first time tuning in, this is essentially the podcast where I love to talk about all new and exciting things happening in the beauty industry, and of course, give my 2 cents to it. Now, let's jump right in talking about the queen of rap, Miss Nicki Minaj, launching her D2C press-on nail brand, Pink Friday Nails, coinciding with her Pink Friday 2 World Concert Tour that actually kicked off in the beginning of March. The actual Pink Friday Nails claim to be the first press-on nail brand that actually allows customers to customize the shape and length of each nail design. The products come in stiletto, coffin, square, almond shapes, short, medium, long, XL, double XL lengths, according to the actual release. It comes with 11 different designs that have actually been co-created with Nicki Minaj's nail designer, Yvette G, and are actually based on authentic styles worn by Nicki Minaj herself in past music videos and award shows, and so on and so forth. And so the actual nails themselves are actually available on the website and are actually priced between $20 and $25, which I think is honestly really affordable and speaks to the simple fact of Nicki Minaj understanding who her audience base is. And she's been out for more than 10 years. I mean, she's a G, she's a vet in what it is that she does. And so I think it's really dope that she's creating, beautiful styled press-on nails. I mean, we've seen press-on nails kind of have a huge boom, especially during the pandemic, even post-pandemic as well too. People doing their nails at home, wanting that same luxury feel, wanting to get their nails done, but not wanting to have to maybe physically go to an actual nail salon or actually have to spend a bag. I mean, when I go get my nails done, I'm spending anywhere between like $100 or, a little bit over, depending on the designs that I'm getting. And so just looking at what she's offering and the styles and the creativity and the fact that it's also very, symbolic almost to who she is, I think this is one just perfect for her fans as a whole. And if you didn't know, I am a barb. So I am a Nicki fan. So I'll definitely be checking out the nails and seeing maybe I can scoop up some. I know her fans are like, I'm a Nicki fan, but I am not, and I'm a barb, but I am not as like rabid as like some of her fans today. I mean, I've been listening to Nicki Minaj again pretty much my entire life. So to me, it's like, I love to see the excitement, and I'll definitely be checking out as well too and seeing if I can get anything on the website, because I have no doubt that some of the things are probably already sold out in a lot of the styles. But I love the mix matching. I love that again, it is also co-created with her designer. I think a lot of the times when celebrities venture into their own brands, it always comes off as if, the celebrity is designing all of this, and sometimes they act as if like it's only the celebrity who's coming up with these ideas and these styles and the creativity. But no, it's like, let me actually give the individual who is responsible and honestly the original creator. I'm sure there's co-creating going on, but the person who's actually doing the designs themselves, giving them an opportunity to actually have the chance to say, yes, I co-created it with somebody who's been doing my nails for years. And so going back to the actual designs themselves, they come in different colorways, including chrome and matte bases as well too. Some of them have over 300 gems, which I think is really dope as well too. And the collection is inspired by, again, Minaj's own nail designs or outfits she has worn for high profile events and music videos. And she actually, I love that Nicki Minaj specifically also spoke to the fact about how she wanted to do this because it was really important for her to create actual product that spoke to her authenticity as a performer. And then on top of that, things that she actually had on her actual mood board. So she actually said this as well too. I drew inspiration, or again, her actual creative director said, I drew inspiration from some of her outfits, music videos, past moments. It was easier for me to actually make the molds physically and she actually said, as opposed to a mood board, which I'm sure a mood board was, came up even just with the photo shoot and, the video shoot and whatnot. But she specifically said it was important for the nail artist to create thick, durable nails, as she tells us that many press-ons are plastic, flimsy, and don't support gems, which I agree, again, as somebody who, have tried press-ons from the drugstore, but also have tried press-ons from, independent creators and, people who are actually artists themselves. You can always tell the difference between somebody who actually understands, nail design and who also cares about nail health. I mean, I think that's the biggest difference as well between someone who's just looking for a cash grab versus somebody who actually understands the art themselves. And so something also really cool is that they're actually custom molds that are very exclusive to the brands. Again, Some of them, actually are inspired again by Nicki's infamous moments. I mean, just even the creativity of the shoot and the visuals, are fire. And it speaks to also Nicki Minaj's creativity as well too. Again, some of them are accent nails, of course, the ones that you can mix and match. You can create your own different sets, which I think is really cool. But then she also speaks to the fact, the creative director speaks to the fact of wanting to also, showcase different brands and or specifically showcase different styles on different types of models as well too, white, black, Asian, dark skin, light skin, just showing different things and showing how these nails can actually look on different people, which I think is really important as well too. When brands, come out with product, depending on what the product is, we never get to actually see what these products look like on different people, different skin tones, just different individuals. And so to me, I just think everything about this is super intentional. I also love the fact that it's also paired with her tour, because one of the things I think is really interesting about celebrity brands is, when the celebrity themselves is not really like, the celebrity is known for a particular thing. Obviously we're seeing that right now with even like Rare Beauty, and we're actually going to talk about Rare Beauty later on today. But Rare Beauty, even Fenty, even House Labs, we see so many celebrity beauty brands kind of started by these individuals who we know from a particular genre, whether it's music, whether it's acting, modeling, whatever it might be. It's always so interesting to me, the people who are actually still in that particular field that we know and love them for, start a brand that feels really adjacent to them. Because even House Labs and Lady Gaga, her brand is very synonymous to, I feel like her brand, like I think House Labs, I love what they do, but I think sometimes the disconnect is that Lady Gaga is not as much as a super mega star as she once was. And I feel like House Labs today is probably the best representation of who Lady Gaga is right now, which I think is okay, because everybody is not going to remember what Lady Gaga was doing 10 to 15 years ago. And she's not being as extravagant as she once was. And so we're seeing her on red carpets. She's pivoted to acting as well too. So we're kind of seeing the similarity there, but it just feels like any other kind of brand. Versus for me, like Pink Friday Nails and Nicki Minaj, and the fact that like her album speaks to that, the fact that the tour is happening, the fact that the nails also look like she could be wearing them on the tour, and I'm sure she is, like it just feels very intentional and it feels genuine. And to me, it's like, if you're a fan of Nicki, if you're a fan, I believe she's also selling the products at tours. She was at Rolling Loud a couple weeks ago, and she had a booth there as well too. So it just feels very authentic. It makes sense. If you're a fan of Nicki, it's almost like kind of buying her merch, right? The Pink Friday nails are essentially like her merch, but it's also now her brand, where she gets to have all these different styles, understands, when we're creating a brand, it's not just about, doing it for a particular moment, but capitalizing on so many different things, understanding who your fan base is as well too. And to me, it's super intentional. Even the packaging as well, they speak to it, including the nails, the glue adhesive, cuticle tabs, cuticle sticks, nail files, an alcohol pad, like everything makes sense. And then the affordability of it all, I think also more than anything speaks to who her fan base is. And like I said earlier, Nicki Minaj has a fan base that has spanned over 10 plus years now. So she has people who are like, old millennial fans who are like in their mid 30s, late 30s, venturing into 40s, even again in their 20s as well too. Like she spans so many different generations and so many different individuals and people. And people love Nicki today because she's still very active in her music and rap and touring, and everything just makes sense. We've seen her wear nails as well too, in her content. And so this all just makes sense. And I'm a big believer in celebrities or prominent figures or creatives just doing things that make sense to their brand, because also the fact that she didn't call them like Nicki Minaj's nails or something like that also gives her the opportunity. Pink Friday is such an iconic part of Nicki Minaj's brand, right? So now it gets to be this perfect, branch from a foundation that she's been able to create that has spanned over decades now. And so for me, I'm just really excited to see what comes more from Pink Friday Nails. I hope she does more collaborative stuff with Pink Friday Nails, maybe even collaborating and coming out with exclusive designs that speak to specific eras that she's been able to cultivate. Obviously Pink Friday was an iconic era. Pop Nicki was such an iconic era as well too. When Nicki also, ventures into doing a little bit of, showing her, Trinidadian side, that Caribbean side, obviously Carnival and all that stuff is important. So I would love to maybe even see something like that. I've also maybe even loved to see some of the individuals who, she's collaborated with over the years colors, maybe come out with exclusive curated collections. I mean, the beauty of when you have your own brand is you really get to do so many different things. And the simple fact that also she cares about the fact that, yeah, we're going to do things that are extravagant and cool, but we also want to have like nails that can be used, if you just want to just have cute nails when you're going out, you know what I mean? Like they don't have to be super long or extravagant. They can also be, relatively short as well too. Like the fact that there's just so many different things that you can have, I just love. And then just another quote here, actually from Nicki's label creative director. She said the press-on nails segment has two ends, either really intricate custom designs that cost hundreds of dollars or drugstore alternatives which break easily. We're hoping to be in the middle, which I think is really great as well too, because it's also understanding where that white space is and saying to yourself, we don't want to be like those brands, because I follow some of these press-on nail brands that are like over $100 for the press-ons. Mind you, the press-ons are beautiful, right? But it just seems like, I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes when I wear an intricate nail design, like I might want to wear it again, or I just want to have I'm more so inclined to wear another style that's like nude or neutral or whatnot versus like another intricate style that I've already worn again, which is why even like I love going to the nail salon and doing different things, right? So it's like if you go spend $100 at the nail salon versus the press-ons that you really can only kind of wear once, and the customization of it can be a little bit difficult. I even see where Pink Friday Nails comes in this, where you can customize and wear different nail styles with different things because they all kind of look in the same color hue, even the designs as well too, like the different gems. Like I don't know. To me, it's just, I love the versatility of it. I love that you can customize. I love that they're actually encouraging customization as well too. And so I'm excited just to see. I know Nicki's on tour, so her main thing right now is just, being on tour. And really, speaking to that. But I also look at this as, a main merch idea for her as well too, while she's on tour, and that she launched it right at the top of it. So it just ends up all making sense. But congrats to Nicki. Congrats to the creative director of G. Congrats to just the team as well too. I know this is probably something that she wanted to launch probably years ago, but if you know Nicki and if you're a fan of Nicki, she just doesn't want to put things out there just to fill the quote unquote, cultural zeitgeist. She wants to make things that are intentional to her. And I'm sure, there was probably a bunch of business that needed to happen in order for this to be right. Also the fact that it's also limited edition as well too, I think is really cool. Because I'm a big believer in creating, hype, creating that moment, right? And the fact that these are limited edition, the fact that, it speaks to the fact that there's obviously definitely more coming as well too. I love also the onus about having, specific molds that speak to molds of the actual nails design themselves. The fact that you can't really get this anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense of exclusivity there that happens. And if you're a fan of Nicki, you know that she cares about those experiences with her fans, right? Despite what people want to say about the drama she's been in and this, that, and the third, she's a creative at heart. And I think as a creative at heart as well too, I resonate with that and I can see what she's doing. And again, if you're a Nicki fan, that you are aware of that as well too. So again, congrats all across the board for me, like 10/10s, like I said, the marketing imagery, just seeing how everything came together, the different, melanin, the hair, the pink, the art, the artistic element to it. I mean, again, Nicki is a creative at her core. So to me, this just all ends up making sense and it's just beautiful to see. Speaking of things just making sense, hold the phone, y'all. Breaking news. This is big things. Like when I saw this all started to unfold, I honestly I think threw my phone maybe across the my living room. Like I was just like, I cannot believe this is actually happening, but it all makes sense. And it's all about Jackie Aina's Forvr Mood brand expanding into fragrances. Now, this was really huge news. And I just gotta let y'all know this. I'm a beauty girl through and through. I have this amazing beauty podcast, my social media marketing agency. We work with beauty, lifestyle, and wellness brands. I have wanted to be a makeup artist in my past. I've wanted to be a beauty guru in my past. And when I tell you I have been watching Miss Aina, when I tell you I have been watching OG beauty influencer, Jackie Aina, doing what she has done exceptionally well for almost, I mean, definitely, I don't know, has it been 10 years? Yeah, it's been more than 10 years, which is actually super duper crazy because I started watching Jackie, I believe, in around 2009, I think, maybe even 2010. Like, that was really when the quote unquote beauty YouTube boom really started happening. So to see her elevate consistently, to see what she's been able to do over the years, like, I'm just proud as somebody who's just been able to see the journey and really been able to see what she's been able to become. And shout out to my Leo sister, because to me, it's like, I just love to see it as a Leo who just understands creativity, who also understands intentionality, things just making sense, taking your time to create things that are great. I just have to commend Jackie Aina and, of course, her husband or fiance, Dennis, and just the team of Forvr Mood, who just have been able to do so amazing, like just so many amazing things with this actual just rollout just as a whole. And so, again, Miss Jackie Aina announced that she is going to be expanding into fragrances with her brand, her lifestyle brand, Forvr Mood. As you know, Forvr Mood came out of the, not necessarily even say came out of the gate, but when Jackie started making the pivot to more lifestyle content, more home decor content, and launched Forvr Mood, her candle line, it just made sense. Everybody saw the play. Everybody saw what was happening. Everybody was aware that, you know, Jackie was moving into, you know, not just being focused on beauty, but actually focused on lifestyle, right? So we actually started to see it. She actually created her separate channel, Lavishly Jackie, as well too, on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, which also I think, you know, blew her up into a different stratosphere because, again, during the pandemic, even post-pandemic, you know, people, as much as beauty was a thing that the girls were doing, it's like, we were not doing as much beauty content before. Skincare started to be a focus. People spending time in their homes started to be a focus. And so I think, just as somebody who was always just looking to expand, I mean, if you've watched Jackie for years, if you have just been a fan of her, you've seen the elevation in her content just as a whole, right? Even when her beauty tutorials just started to be different, you know what I mean? And she really has been able to amass millions across all of her platforms with, you know, Lavishly Jackie and, of course, her own personal brand. She's been able to just reach so many different people and enter into a different stratosphere. So now that Forvr Mood, you know, the lifestyle brand, which originally, you know, has been focused on candles, is now looking to actually expand into fragrances. This is really interesting and really dope because she is not a stranger to fragrances. I mean, I spoke about this on my Instagram stories, how for years, Jackie has honestly been prepping us and priming us because she has been such a go-to for fragrances and almost like a bit of a fragrance connoisseur herself, sharing her sharing her favorite fragrances, you know, doing partnerships with brands as well too, you know, constantly showing us that she is entering into this space as wanting to have the beautiful, luxurious things in life. And so I think it all ends up making sense to the fact that her now launching fragrances and coming out with this, you know, to me, I just love it. I honestly just love it. And so far they've been able to roll out 3 different perfumes, and I loved the rollout. I mean, again, I talked about this on my Instagram stories about how I just loved to see everything, but she's going to be coming out so far, y'all. She has dropped that there's going to be 3 different perfumes, right? And I'm going on her TikTok as well too, because this is where she actually ended up listing the names of the fragrances as well as the actual notes of the fragrances. So the first one that she introduced was I Am Her, an eau de parfum, which has notes of red velvet cake, accord, pear, raspberry, and oud. And something also really dope that I wanted to mention as well, that these are going to be coming to Sephora as well as Sephora Canada. She does have 2 different dates here, but I believe everything is going to be coming out on April 2nd, 2024. So mark your calendars for that as well too. And I'll go into, again, you know, a little bit of my thoughts about the rollout and everything in relation to that. But let's get back to the perfume, y'all. Let's get back to the perfume. So I Am Her is the first one that she actually went ahead and introduced. And then secondly, she spoke about another one. She was like, thought we was done. No, ma'am. The second one is Hard to Get, which the notes are lemon, jasmine, whipped vanilla. And I love this. This actually smells like I feel like I can already smell it. Like the imagery, the fact that she looks so moisturized, the coloring of it as well too. Like it's just so beautiful. Y'all go on to Forvr Mood on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever, right? Just Google it. You will see just the rollout and how everything just looks very beautiful and well thought out. And lastly, this is the last fragrance that she's rolled out so far, which is called You Remind Me, which has notes of apricot skin, orange flower, and sensual musks, which I actually love that. I'm a musk girl, so that may be on my radar, or it might, I don't know. Everybody in the comments is going crazy. Everybody has just been super duper excited. I love to see also Jackie in the comments as well too, responding back to people. I saw in a comment section on the actual Forvr Mood Instagram that there's going to be a discovery set as well too, which I love to see. And all the imagery is out so far and everything just like looks exquisite. Everything just looks lavish. And something that I thought was really cool about this as well too is that Jackie actually did a lot of collaborative posts as well too with her Lavishly Jackie brand and Forvr Mood, which I loved because I'm all for collaborative posts. I'm all for, founders and brands and just having that correlation with your marketing as well too. I mean, if you've got audiences across the board, right? If you've got so many different people that you're wanting to serve, why not use your own personal brand and your own platforms to collaborate and create collaborative posts and collaborate that marketing as well too with your actual brand? Like I'm here for it. But like I said, in the comment section, answering people's questions, again, answering the notes as well too. Like I said, the notes I found on TikTok. So she didn't actually talk about the notes on Instagram, but if you head over to their TikTok, actually, I'm a liar. The notes are right here. Why did I not see the notes before? Breaking news, y'all. I just found that out. But neither here nor there. Like I said, so far, this is going to be coming to Sephora. It might even be an exclusive Sephora actual launch, which I think is really cool. I've seen a lot of beauty brands do that as well, and it's been super duper successful. I know Sephora is actually there also hasn't been I was gonna say I know Sephora does online typically for like new launches, and then they'll eventually bring it into store. I mean, they're very strict about when they want to make something a big splash in store, and they really are looking for those online sales as well as that traffic that comes online to see if that's something that can, have a full rollout in store. I mean, I'm sure it's coming, but so far, Sephora Canada, Sephora America and across is going to be coming April 2nd, 2024, which is literally right around the corner, y'all, which is cray. I'm just shocked. I'm shook that it's just coming so quick. I mean, again, I love a week rollout. You know what I mean? I love just kind of rolling it out within the week. It's just beautiful to see. I also hope, this week coming up as well too, that there's going to be some sort of waitlist processed as well, because a lot of people just in the comment section across TikTok and Instagram have just been saying, I hope I can get it. I hope I can put this in my cart. It's not sold out. These things are going to sell out quick. And Jackie has millions of fans and millions of supporters across all her platforms. So I already have no doubt that these are going to sell out, like no doubt in my mind. But I hope they put together some sort of wait list landing page on their website as well too, just so people can actually sign up for emails as well too. It would be a great way to bump up their email list to just get that excitement, also get those numbers as well too. I think a really great selling point for a lot of brands is when they can say, hey, like 50,000 people or 100,000 people or 75,000 people or 300,000 people have signed up for the wait list for this perfume. And it also is a really great way to showcase to, partners and retailers as well too, that you actually have this demand. So here's the supply, we need more supply, you know what I mean? Or we need to put this in store as well too, because so many people are wanting this product. And I think also for a business, it's just a really great indicator as well too, because it will bump up your email list, and then actually then go ahead and you can create those email sequences as well too, to just prime people and get people ready for this upcoming launch that's happening as well too. And of course you can add, you can make your email list a priority compared to social media and X, Y, and Z, because social media can be a little crazy depending on if you've got a social media manager, if you've got someone taking care of it. But neither here nor there, there's just so much happening on social, and you have so much more control over your email list. And, gosh forbid, something does happen to Instagram or something does happen and your launch is coming up, you can still communicate to people via your email list and still have that connection with them as well too. And they can still go ahead and buy from you and still be aware. And, you can even just announce to the email list, right? I ain't gonna hold y'all. I signed up for the Forvr Mood email list once I saw this all come out because I personally just wanted to see what the email list marketing rollout was going to be. When I did sign up, I didn't get any sort of confirmation email or sort of email sequence that came up, but I'm sure for this fragrance rollout that this is definitely coming. And so I just love to see it. People have also speculated that there's going to be a fourth perfume that launches because the brand is called Forvr Mood. And that 4 is really, significant to it as well. There hasn't been any announcements as of yet. Like I said, Jackie started teasing this almost, I want to say a couple weeks ago, actually. Yeah. Or no, last week, actually. She started teasing that something was coming. And so she did just kind of announce as well a couple days ago that all of this was starting to roll out. So I'm sure more news is coming. I'm sure maybe possible more launches are coming as well, too. But I just love the creativity of the rollout. I love how everything looks. The bottles themselves look exquisite and just expensive as well, too. People also have been speculating about pricing as well. I mean, y'all, this is going to be at Sephora. So I don't really foresee this being, anywhere. I really see this being anywhere between maybe $50 to $100, if I'm going to be honest. And not for nothing, it looks like it's supposed to be that. So I'm not mad at anyone, for wanting to spend their coins on this, and not even just necessarily for the price, because I believe people will buy whatever they want and will make no excuses for it. I've literally been seeing everybody in the comments being like, okay, y'all, which bill? I got to know what this all is, so I need to know which bill not to pay. Because I just, people have just been excited for this rollout. People are just so happy for it. Like I said, the discovery set is also coming as well too. Like I said, also people have speculated to 4 fragrances coming, even though there's been 3. But like I said, I believe the price point for this is probably going to be anywhere from 50 to 100. Because again, Jackie knows who her audience is, right? Which is primarily Black women from all different walks of life, right? Primarily between their maybe early to mid 20s to maybe their mid to late 30s as well too. Like I think she's got that market covered, maybe even a little bit after the 40s, but honestly within that mid 20s to mid to late 30s, I think she's got that audience and that community covered. So it's going to be for women that got some change in their pocket and know, fragrances and understand luxury and are wanting those things in life. And so, again, like I said, it's also going to be sold at Sephora. And y'all know you can't go into Sephora without buying 2 things and not costing you $150 to $200. So just know, get your coins ready that this is probably going to be within that $50 to $100 range, maybe even a little bit more, because I'm sure there's bundle sets and things coming as well, too. So just put your coins aside, y'all. Like, that's all I'm pretty much going to say. Like I said, I've just been loving to see the rollout. Everything has just been super duper intentional. And to me, it just makes sense because Jackie has been really getting us comfortable and priming us for the fact that she is somebody who we need to trust in this space. You know what I mean? She has impeccable taste. People have loved to see that she is educated and also an expert in this space. And not for nothing, she's somebody who sells lavish life in a very aspirational way, right? And she's somebody who's obviously spoken up about, colorism and in beauty, but also in fashion and, certain people maybe not taking her as seriously, you know what I mean? And having to make certain pivots because certain people needed to take her. She needed wanted to enter into a new space, and she wasn't sure how people were going to take her seriously, but she has been able to pivot and pivot and pivot and have done it in a way that has just felt very authentic to her. And so congrats to Jackie, congrats to Forvr Mood, congrats to just like the rollout of everything. I'll be really, really excited to see how it all comes together. Like I said, I hope they get a wait list ready to go because I feel like the wait list is going to be a really great indication to really see who is really going to put their credit card in and possibly potentially buy, especially creating a wait list for each particular product itself, because I also think that will show okay, out of all the fragrances that we have dropped, right? If it's 3, then it's 3. If it's 4, it's 4. Out of all of these fragrances that we've dropped, which have gotten people the most excited about? And then that will also, spearhead what the marketing plan or the marketing strategy is going to be going forward as well too. Because if they're entering into fragrances, then I can also see them coming into other areas of fragrance as well too. I know they currently have room sprays. I could totally see room sprays being in this space, potentially even body care as well too. I mean, I said Forvr Mood is a lifestyle brand. I know people know them for candles, but I really think there's a lifestyle element there that's going to be really, really important to, speak to. And Jackie as well has become she's not just pinpointed to beauty anymore. She has now become a creator of all different walks of life, and really this like authentic lifestyle creator who's showing you her life, right? Beauty, fashion, home, family, just so many different elements of it as well too. So like I said, congrats. And I'm just super duper excited to see how it all comes together. Like I said, the perfumes are set to launch, or the fragrances, I should say, the perfume fragrance are set to launch at Sephora and Sephora Canada in the beginning of April 2nd there. So get your coins ready, y'all. Get it all together, because I have no doubt they are going to sell out. Last but not least, wanted to talk about, again, another level of expansion, and that's all about Selena Gomez and Rare Beauty. Now, you guys know I've talked about Rare Beauty a ton over on the podcast. I also spoke about the fact that when Rare Beauty launched in 2020, I went to Sephora and I bought a bunch of products. I think I saw a couple of my favorite influencers and content creators review the brand. I believe one of them at the time was Alyssa Ashley. And shout out to Alyssa Ashley. Shout out to OG Beauty YouTube. If you know, you know. She was definitely the person who convinced me to take my money over to Sephora and buy a bunch of Rare Beauty products. And I actually still have a lot of them with me. I've used the blush. I'm pretty much almost towards the end of my blush, and I bought that in 2020. So I've had it almost for 4 years now. And that also made me think about the fact that Selena Gomez has had Rare Beauty for 4 years now, and she's reportedly in the process of exploring a sale of her, it says US 2 billion, 3 billion cosmetics company Rare Beauty, which I think is really, really interesting, because 4 years of you having this amazing brand that has been able to excel to what it is, you're now looking to sell? Like, I think I'm just shocked more so than anything about it. But they also speak to the fact that, she's actually hired advisors to solicit offers for her company Rare. And the company itself has brought on bankers to weigh potential offers for the actual company. But also they speak to the fact that, she is most likely going to still remain involved with the business even after the sale, which I think is really smart, because I've said this over and over again, Selena Gomez and Rare Beauty, like, I don't know if she can leave the company and the company has as much success as it does today, because I believe she's so intrinsically linked to Rare Beauty, like the mission, the fact that it also speaks to, some of the, health issues that she's also go through, mental illness. Like, it's so intertwined with who she is as a person and her personal brand, which, like, nothing is necessarily inherently wrong with that, but I believe when you're in a space where you're looking to eventually sell your business, sometimes it's a little bit hard when you're not able to, when the founder of the brand is so intrinsically linked to the actual brand itself that, like, people feel like if the founder themselves is maybe not a part of that brand anymore, that the brand is going to change. And that typically does happen depending on who actually, has the brand once the sale is done, what happens. But I don't know if Rare can really stand on its own without Selena Gomez present. So it could be one of those things where, kind of like majority of celebrity beauty brands, where the celebrity is mostly just like a figurehead, or, they're just the ambassador almost. And they have a CEO, they have a CMO, they have a full working company that's taking care of everything. Like, same deal with, Fenty and Rihanna. Like, Fenty, I believe Fenty Skin, they appointed a new CEO. Like, Rihanna is not I don't even think Rihanna is the CEO of Fenty. I mean, she could be, but even so, she has built a really great ecosystem with Fenty and Fenty Skin and even Savage and, all these other entities, because she is the figurehead, right? And we love the brand, obviously, because Rihanna is Rihanna and we love Rihanna. But I've always said this, that Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin and even Savage X Fenty can kind of stand on its own without Rihanna having to be physically present. I think it's an extra cherry on top when she is there, but they've built a really incredible infrastructure as a company where there are so many different roles, right? There's ambassadors. We have Priscilla Ono, who's the global makeup artist, who, there's so many amazing touch points to the brand that if Rihanna's there, cool, but we don't have to see her every single day in order to get a reminder that we need to buy, right? And I think Rare, is not really like that. Like Selena Gomez still has to be present because so many people love Selena Gomez. I mean, I believe she's the most followed person on Instagram as well too, or maybe that, that went away because, every now and again they throw out those stats for PR. But to me, I think Rare is so intrinsically linked to who Selena is. So knowing that she's going to still be a part of the brand, I think helps. But it'll be interesting to see how much she is a part of the brand as well too, or if she's still as front facing as she is currently right now. Going back to the article from news.com, Rare Beauty, which boasts a $3 billion valuation, is considered by Business of Fashion to be the most sought after mergers and acquisition targets of 2024. Now, going back as well to happy.com, where they talk about this a little bit more in depth, a formal process has not begun yet, and potential partners or potential options are still being evaluated. Experts put Rare Beauty's valuation anywhere between 1 to 2.2 billion. So again, it's in that 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 million mark as well too. I mean, I think it's more the 3 than it is anything else. But we'll what's happening currently in 2024 will also speak to that as well too, because I think this year is going to be a very explosive year for Rare Beauty. And I've been seeing just, they're launching a lot more products more frequently. They did a bunch of that over these 4 years, but I've just been seeing Rare just being way more visible now more than ever, especially with this potential sale coming up. Whatever move she makes with Rare Beauty, Selena positions herself as the next celebrity beauty billionaire, although her stake in Rare is unknown since there is no parent company or corporate partner. Officials estimate that she will receive a 9-figure buyout. Now, industry sources estimate Rare Beauty sales were $350 million last year, and also speaking to the fact that, even though she's the face of the brand, she's still gotten a lot of help. So actually, I'm here learning that CEO Scott Friedman, CEO Medi, and Chief Product Officer Joyce Kim were with NYX Cosmetics, which sold to L'Oreal for $500 million in 2014. So good to know that she's not running Rare. I did not know that. Very interesting. But again, it also makes sense because, like I said, most of these celebrity beauty brands, the celebrity is the figurehead, or they'll do the founder thing to really speak to the fact that, yes, this individual is the founder, but they're not running the company, y'all. They are just honestly the brand ambassador for the brand, and if it happens that they end up being the quote unquote founder, then it's an extra cherry on top, right? But these are not the individuals who are running the company on the day to day. And I wish so many more people understood that. That no, these individuals hire, very successful executives to run their companies, right? And so something really interesting to note there. But again, at the end of 2023, Rare actually raised a rough amount of $12 million for mental health causes through their Rare Impact Fund. 1% of annual sales go towards the fund and has partnered with 25 global organizations. And again, recently, as I spoke about this as well too, about Rare entering into body care with their Fine Comfort collection, which I think was really great as well too. And it was, their first kind of venture outside of color cosmetics, which, like I said, I can totally see Rare also kind of shifting and really becoming almost this lifestyle brand that expands outside of just cosmetics, even though I know their cosmetics are the main reason as to why people love them. I mean, blushes have completely gotten viral, and so many brands since then have come out with alternatives and dupes and whatnot. But I think just everything about Rare, they've knocked it out of the park. So I have no doubt that, if she does sell the company and what happens, I could totally see it, definitely shaking up the industry for sure, because the brand is doing so well. And because she's at the head of it, I can see where people might be like, oh, what's going to happen to the brand? The brand's not going to be the same anymore and whatnot. I can also really see, depending on who they sell to, that could also shake things up. Like if they decide to sell to Estee Lauder, I could see, that, going a certain way because there's a lot of people that have a lot to say about Estee Lauder. I think L'Oreal could also be, a move for them as well too, because obviously the executives that are on the team have past L'Oreal connections. So I could maybe even seeing that go a certain way. I don't know. I'm really just interested to see. I've also seen, I've talked about this enough on the podcast about how, beauty brands and whatnot have also explored, venture capital as well too, and going to particular firms. So I think that could also be really interesting. The fact that she's hiring bankers, it might even seem that she's going that route as well too. So who knows? I think overall, Rare has been incredibly successful since its launch. And the fact that she's actually looking to sell it 4 years in is really interesting to me because, again, I go back to Fenty. Fenty came out in 2017. And, I even think it would be huge news if Rihanna sold Fenty and whatnot. But also, Fenty is under LVMH, Sephora is under LVMH, and it all intertwined. So I don't even think a sale even ends up making sense considering they're literally everywhere. They're in Sephora, they're in Ulta. Of course, they've got their D2C. But I don't know. I think it could be an interesting move. I think, again, if she's going to make an insane amount of money, I'll be really interested to see, what she does with that and how much involvement she'll have in Rare still as well too. I think as a whole, this is the year of beauty acquisitions. I think this is just where we're at. We're seeing more and more and more these conversations happen where we're seeing beauty brands get to this level of a mass success. And I was actually reading an article very recently on WWD, I believe, about how, this world of, beauty acquisitions and beauty brand acquisitions specifically, is a very profitable one for a lot of companies and a lot of, VCs and whatnot as well too, because beauty will always be that thing that will stand a test of time. It's honestly recession proof in a way. And so if you can build a beauty brand to amass a level of success that's anywhere in the billions, I think any brand looks at that and says, I want a piece of that. You know what I mean? Or any company or any conglomerate says, I want a piece of that, right? And even from an investment standpoint, we want a piece of that, especially if we can still have the celebrity be a figurehead to what it is that we're doing. I think sometimes when things go a little astray is when it feels like that maybe the celebrity's not there anymore, or maybe a formula changes, or just something ends up happening. And I've talked about acquisitions in the past and, how people have been really shady towards certain founders as well too for selling companies as if that's not what some of y'all's favorite entrepreneurs have been doing for years, particularly men who have built their quote unquote success today because all they did in their early 20s and 30s and whatnot was create companies and sell companies. And that's how these individuals have been able to amass this level of wealth over time, right? And still having, their foot in hand or, a certain percentage or a certain equity stake in this company as well too. So I think 2024 will definitely be the year of a lot more beauty brands being acquired and for massive amounts of money as well too. I've been seeing even just the conversation about investing into beauty brands become a huge topic about where people want equity. Right. And as someone who also has, aspirations, as I continue to amass success and, wealth and certain things like that, I want to invest in beauty brands as well, too, because as somebody who, is on the back end working with brands on marketing and strategy and content and all this amazing things, I think there's so much that can happen when you have the right support system, and not just from a money standpoint, but also an expertise standpoint, right? Or a connection standpoint. And as an investor, if you bring so much more to the table other than just a check, you're obviously, though, brands are also looking at that and thinking to themselves, who's going to be the best partner? You know what I mean? And there's so much that can happen in this space as well. So, I'm really interested to follow along and what this happens. I'm sure I'll probably be hitting y'all again, with news that the brand is sold, and we'll see if the number is at 3 billion. We'll see if it's at 2 billion, maybe even 1 billion. I don't really see it going for 1 billion, but I can totally see 3 billion, for sure, especially because we're, Q2 is just beginning. And I believe Rare has a lot coming up because so far they entered into body care in December, and that was very recent, and that's done really well. And they've just been hitting out of the park with every single launch they've been able to come out with. And so Like I said, I'll be sure to update y'all when that sale eventually ends up happening. But other than that, y'all, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of What's New in Beauty. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, send me a DM, connect with me over on Instagram at Socially Savvy Nia. And I'm just really excited to just get back into just talking about beauty and business and just some of these moves that these founders and these companies are making, because it's giving expansion. It's giving we want more. It's giving we want to expand and do bigger and better things than we once were. And so I'm all the way here for it. But without further ado, y'all, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of What's New in Beauty, and I'll catch you in the next one.